Thank you for joining me. Happy New Year and welcome to kind of a repurposed build series. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll know that I started a slimline telly build a few months ago now, but this one got water damaged and I've been waiting for it to dry out to see what I can do with it. And I've come to the decision that I just can't use that. I'm going to need to replace it. So I figured what I'll do is to change tack on this build series, and rather than continuing and building another slimline telly, I wanted to do a new design for this year anyway. Now what I can do is to use the olive neck that I built for the slimline telly, which is great. It means I don't need to build a new neck, and this one looks absolutely awesome. I love the olive wood. So let's take a quick look at the wood that I'm going to use for the new body, and then we'll dive in and start building, and I'll talk as I work. The top I prepped yesterday, and this is one of my favourite tops that I've got. It's poplar burl. It's got a beautiful grain pattern and some wonderful blue colours coming through, and I think it goes really nicely with the olive. And for the body I'm going to use my go-to wood, which is okame. So I've already got this prepped yesterday as well, so I'm all ready to start. So let's get started and I'll talk as I work. If you've watched the channel before, you might already be familiar with my Journeyman design, which is my single cut. It's a slab-sided double-bound guitar, and I love it. I'm 100% happy with it, but if I'm going to do a second design, the idea is to make this one everything that that one's not. So this one's going to be a double cutaway guitar, and rather than being double-bound, it's going to be a carve top. But what I do want to do, and what I think I've done, is to design it so that it's familiar enough that it looks like both of those guitars are made by the same person. But you guys will be a better judge of whether I've done that well or not, but that's the idea. So I'll get the outline drawn on and cut out, and then I'll explain a bit more about what I'm planning for it. So what I've tried to do for this design is to keep the round proportions, because I think that's one of the things that gives it a classic type of look, which I really like. And I'm also using the same type of arrangement on the horns as I do on the lower horn of the Journeyman. But I'll sharpen up and modernise the design by using carves, and I'll talk a bit more about that when I come to do them. So for now, let's get this placed on the top and figure out where we want this all to sit. So these parts of the grain here, I think I want to sit in the widest area of the guitar, and this part of the grain I want leading up towards the bridge. So I'm going to mark it up there and see what I think. That looks perfect. I'm also going to get a bit of flaming in between where the pickups are going to sit. That's exactly where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and we'll get this glued on. So the top's a few millimetres too big all the way around, but that was just to be on the safe side. This has had time to dry overnight. Let's take a look. Okay, that looks good. Because I left quite a bit around the edge of this, I'm just going to take it to the spindle sander and take the majority of that away before I use the router, just to be on the safe side. Okay, the sides are all flushed up, that all looks good. Okay, this top is awesome. I really, really love it. The next thing I need to do is to get the neck pocket in, so I've decided for this guitar that I would like the neck to meet the body round about the 18th fret. So let's get this drawn on and cut. So this one's going to need to be 18mm deep because I'm using an 8mm high bridge. I'd like to do a fixed bridge on this one, so we'll measure that up and get it placed now, and then we'll have a talk about the type of pickups. As usual, I'm going to mark this dead on 65 centimetres as opposed to 64.8. Okay, I'm happy with that. So that is the neck pocket, the bridge placement and the string through body holes done. So that's all the really critical parts done. So what I'm going to do now is to mark out the pickup location. So let's have a talk about the pickups. For this guitar, what I've decided to do is something I've wanted to do for quite a long time, which is a humbucker and a single coil. In fact, that's going to be the standard arrangement for these guitars. Now at the moment I think I'll probably use an SSL-1 Seymour Duncan in the neck, which is their best ever selling Strat pickup, and for good reason. I think it just sounds fantastic, and I will have some form of PAF voiced humbucker in the bridge. At the moment I'm thinking maybe an Alnico 2 Tone Rider, but I'll probably test a couple and see what I'm happy with. Let's get these marked up and routed, and then for the first time it's going to look like a guitar. Okay, I've drawn on where the carves are going to go, which means that actually I can place the tone volume and the switch and get that drilled now. I place those on where I want them, and I'll just drill all the way through with a Forstner bit, and then I'll arrange the control cavity around those holes from the back. And then I'm going to do the carves because I've geared myself up for it now. So I'm just marking my carve lines in tape. So I've retaped the line for the last carve I did on the top, because I want the belly carve to run parallel for this section to the carve that I've already done, and then it'll taper off both sides. And on the back here I've got an S shape, so this is where I want the majority of it out. Well, I'm really happy with that, but I mean I've got a lot of sanding to do. That's exactly how I wanted it. I was toying with the idea of doing a 45-degree chamfer for the rest of the edges, but actually I think that's probably going to be a bit too extreme. So I think what I'll do instead is to use a roundover bit that's slightly too big or slightly oversized, and I won't plunge it all the way down so that it gives me an even curve. I'll lift it up slightly, and what that'll mean is it will round the edge over, but it will leave a fairly sharp line on the top. Then I can blend the carve lines with the line that's left by that roundover bit. Okay, let's do that. I've gone ahead and rounded all the edges. I've still got lots of finessing to do, but I think we're probably at the point where we can take a look at this now. And I've also done the holes for the neck and given the whole thing just a bit of a sand to get rid of some of the pencil lines and the smaller scratches that I put on there as I've been making it. So we'll take a look and then I'll give you my first thoughts and impressions. Oh, and while I'm doing this, the collaboration video that I've been working on with Todd for ages, we finally just got a video out and live. So I'm going to put a link to that in the end of this video, but we had a real blast making those necks. So it's much more light entertainment than the usual style on either of our channels. So please do check that out if you're going to be interested. So the comfort and balance test first. Okay, that's awesome. So there's no neck dive, which is great because this is as heavy a neck as I'll ever make. It's olive. Probably as light a body as I'll ever make too. Okay, it passes the feel test. That is awesome. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. That was what was in my head when I started this, which is always a good thing. So, I mean, it helps that I love the top, the poplar burl top, the colours on it. I really hope that comes through on the camera, because there really are some stunning shades of blue in this part of the grain particularly. The carves I'm happy with, they look good to me. They come through the top and reveal the okame underneath, which is great. And I really do think that they provide a really nice dimension to the body. So let me do the spin. The cutaway, the belly cut, super happy with. Doesn't just look nice, it's actually really comfy. And also let me know what you think, but I do think that the olive goes really well with the poplar. So I do need to have a think about how I'm going to colour and finish this, because I do need a hard finish on the poplar. It always needs a hard finish because it's so soft and delicate. Oh, and I also need to just figure out the control cavity on the back, but I was going to give it a couple of days just to think about how I want to do that. But that's all going to be for the next episode. So for now, that is, I would say, a good save to the olive wood slimline telly project. I hope you agree. So as always, thank you very much for watching. I do really appreciate all the support that you guys give me, and I'll have a new episode of something very soon.